course, that in the nearly 40 years since I wrote it, my thinking has moved beyond what I understood then. But it is also true that each of these convictions continues to shape my ongoing efforts to find in the Bible everything we need to know to live life as it was meant to be lived. To those who want to think deeply about what it means to counsel biblically, to those who long to live life that only Jesus makes possible, to those who believe that life is all about relationship with God and others, I offer effective biblical counseling as a resource that builds on 5 mere Christian convictions and introduces one man's lifelong quest to understand what it takes to lift the story of our lives into the eternal story of God. Lawrence J. Crabb, Jr., Ph.D., Boca Raton, Florida. Preface to the first edition. Referring to some of our more modern church music, my father once wrote to me, "I think we so often sing silliness, almost as though we are attempting to delude ourselves with the thought that the Christian life is a ball. No Christian who is seriously trying to pursue the knowledge of Christ routinely experiences the frothy, bubbly, giddy sort of joy that so often is held out as the normal Christian life. Everyone has real and intense personal struggles that dedication to Christ does not eliminate. The harsh truth is that living for the Lord sometimes increases the severity of the struggle. The struggles we experience have several causes. Some of our suffering is the inevitable lot of fallen people living in a fallen world. The results of the fall include separation not only from God and from others, but also from ourselves. We come apart as persons, unable to genuinely accept ourselves as we are. Our consequent struggle to be or to pretend to be what we are not explains much of our deep discontent and personal suffering. Becoming a Christian does not end the struggle. It provides us with the resources to see the battle through to a successful conclusion. Some of our suffering is the direct result of being a Christian. Romans chapter 8, verse 17. The Lord often allows His people to suffer as a means of promoting an awareness of His absolute sufficiency. Sometimes our suffering is related to unbiblical patterns of living. Whatever the cause, people today are wrestling with personal distress and afflictions. I believe that God has ordained the local church as His primary instrument to tend to our personal aches and pains. We must admit that, generally speaking, we are not doing a very good job in this area. In writing this book, I have tried to be of practical help to Christians who want to be more effective in ministering to their suffering brothers and sisters. I therefore asked a few Christians who care about people to read the manuscript and to let me know if I was communicating to them. Like the child who guarantees a positive response by asking his aunts, cousins, and grandparents to buy tickets to his school play, I first solicited comments on my book from my father, Lawrence Crabb Sr., and brother, William Crabb, both of whom I deeply respect as committed, knowledgeable, mature Christians. I thank them both for their thoughts. Let me pass on a reaction expressed by my father. One sad thought kept recurring as I read this book, written on the assumption that believers care for one another, an assumption that we must make in order to advocate a course of action such as you recommend. Paul seems in tears as he speaks in Philippians chapter 2, verse 21. For all seek their own, not the things that are Jesus Christ's. Self and self-centeredness are the most prevalent and despicable factors inhibiting the growth of the church. We must realize that Christian service is not only evangelizing, but includes the selfless building up of the Lord's people. Perhaps this is the most important aspect of service, since a healthy group of believers best illustrates the body of Christ and has a magnetic influence far greater than a fervent gospel appeal. Israel was to be a separate, peculiar people, illustrating the power of God to guide and govern a nation.